Recently, you've been probably noticing trippy images with fractal creatures, weird and beautiful landscapes, unusual character concept art with a distinct LSD vibe about it. It is everywhere. Everywhere. You see these trippy images in your Twitter feed, and rumors say it will quite likely change the landscape of concept art and maybe of digital art. You've probably heard the words disco diffusion and neural art, and more specifically Midjourney. Okay, so what is it? It is one of these art-making robots that have popped up recently, like DALL-E, that dreams the images based on a text prompt. It works like this. You type in something like, well, first war footage of organic warfare titan constructed from polyps and coral destroying the battlefield, and you get this. The neural network processes your request and spits out an image. What a time to be alive, as Karel Zsolnay here from 2 Minute Papers YouTube channel says. By the way, that's a nice channel, you should check it out. So I thought it's time I try. It's time I become an AI whisperer for a day. Near the end of this video, I will show a selection of my results, my prompts with Midjourney, and some unexpected crazy stuff, so keep watching, I guess. And now I want to share a quick how-to of using Midjourney, especially if you have just started playing with the idea of AI-based image generation. But first, a quick warning, it is a tech crack pipe. It could be really addictive, I think. Here is a brief guide of making a weird, fun stuff in Midjourney. This app is still in beta, so to request an access to the beta version, you need to go to midjourney.com and apply for the beta. Input your email in there to get on the waiting list. It could take a while because they are sending invitations in waves. Alternatively, one of your friends with a paid subscription can send you an invite. Well, if you have such friends that are willing to share a gateway drug with you. Alright, so once you get the invitation, you can now join the Midjourney Discord server where all the magic happens. This application works through the Discord server that processes the prompts you input and spits out the freshly generated images. It is a cloud-based service, so it doesn't use your GPU and your computer resources, so technically it can be used on any device. In order to get started, you should type in the / key and select one of the commands. Some useful extra arguments can be found in the Help tab, so let's type /help just to see the page. For now we won't use these commands, but it's good to know that we have this page to refer to when we need. For now we start with the generation command, which is /imagine. That's the name of the game, the command that makes Midjourney imagine the endless possibilities, followed by a prompt. For example, imagine an alien planet landscape concept art. Please. And boom, you can see that our request has been put into the queue. And sometimes it's hard to find, you need to scroll up and down, because other users are also generating stuff. And basically you can see the 4 generations of our prompt being visualized alongside the progress bar. And once finished, it's usually moved to the bottom of the page. So let's scroll down. Here it is. You can click to enlarge. So here we have 4 generations of our prompt, which are numbered like this under the hood, from upper left to upper right, then lower left, lower right. It will become clear why in a moment. If the program got it wrong, we can re-roll the results anytime by pressing this button. It will launch the visualization process once more. We can scroll all the way to the bottom of the page, and we'll see our new version being generated. Or rather 4 freshly baked neural network generated images. Here they are. Alright, let's suppose that this iteration looks way more interesting or resembles your artistic vision more closely, and once again it's labeled like this, so what can we do next? The heart and soul of Midjourney and other similar AI-based generators is the prompt. It can be composed of tags without making it sound like a statement. Alien life, fiery geysers, lava, fog, rocks, whatever, and see what comes out. So it can be phrased like that, with literally tags. Or it can be formulated like a complete sentence, quite convoluted if you wish. A strangely beautiful landscape of an alien planet resembling Mars, but with volcanoes erupting and hints of an alien architecture that was great once but has become abandoned and devoid of life. Blah blah blah. Like it was painted by Zdzisław Bikszynski, for example. It can sound really elaborate. Anyway, here we have a grid of spectacular Zdzisław Bikszynski style images, numbered like that. And now we can try the U and V buttons, the upscale and the variant buttons. The upscale command with the number attached sends the specific image into the upscaling queue. Here we selected the second and the third images from the grid to be reimagined or rather developed in a higher definition. And by scrolling down the thread we can hopefully catch our upscaled images. Under each one there are 3 more buttons: Make Variations, Upscale to Max and Light Upscale Redo. Let us press all 3 and see what each one does. Upscale to Max is pretty self-explanatory. It makes the image even larger and more detailed. On the contrary, the Light Upscale Redo could be used to roll back some of the detail and to get a smoother image with the focus on the primary shapes. The Make Variations button generates 4 more variations of the upscaled prompt. That is basically it. And in turn, now we can choose from these 4 and send one of these into the upscaling queue, or keep spawning the variants, because this second one is lovely. I'm so interested in trying to develop it furthermore. Okay, so here we go. 4 more iterations to choose from. And out of this batch, I think we can choose the upper left one and upscale it. So it goes like that, I suppose. It is an iterative process which leads to some unexpected results and money spent. It is still a paid software after all, but it is undeniably interesting. Damn it, now that's a conundrum. Once you start generating lots and lots of images using different prompts, it's easy to lose track of these images. Thankfully, you can go to midjourney.com and sign in there with Discord. And after logging on, you will find every piece of modern art you've generated using Midjourney. We need to click the Home button in the upper left corner of the screen. And voila, this is your gallery. From there you can browse every image you created. They're sorted very conveniently in a chronological order. And obviously we can save the images by pressing this, how is it called? This button. Oh my god, a floppy disk. And the 3 dots menu has some useful commands as well, like we can copy our prompts or very conveniently open this task in Discord. I think by default it uses the browser version of Discord though, and so now we tracked this generation really easily. That's a cool little tip of making sense of Midjourney, because it can be pretty hard to track your generations, especially if you leave it for a while then get back. Alright, what else we can do on the website? We can manage our subscription. I've blasted through my free credits like in no time and had to upgrade. First to basic membership, then to standard one. It can be done from there. As for the AI whispering part of the prompt design, you can also mention a specific artist if you want your image to have a similar style or an amalgam of styles. For example, you can stand on the shoulders of the giants. Amazing artists like Pascal Blanchet, Thu Bergs, aka Sergei Petrov, and let's say James Gurney, one of my favorite artists. In Midjourney you can mix these styles in the prompt, for example by adding the tag inspired by Pascal Blanchet and Thu Bergs, or inspired by Pascal Blanchet, James Gurney and Thu Bergs, to get a mixture of styles. Anyway, that's a pretty cool way to nudge the algorithm into a specific direction. Think of the artist's styles as descriptors that help you narrow the stylistic possibilities for the art piece, I guess. There is, for example, an alien landscape and the wind inspired by Pascal Blanchet and Thu Bergs. One more idea to consider is to mention an artistic medium as a descriptor. How about a Polaroid of an alien landscape? This rabbit hole runs deep. I was completely engrossed by this possibility to try different styles. How about a wet plate photography instead? So thinking about the media is a very useful way to control the algorithm. In addition to that, a broader context descriptors may come into play. For example, cinematic or ArtStation trending. Yeah, it feels a little bit like cheating, but nevertheless. That is the alien landscape and the wind, cinematic and trending on ArtStation. I know that sounds weird, but that's a useful tag. You can also mention a specific software like Octane Render and Unreal Engine, usually associated with more 3D realistic style of rendering, to inspire the algorithm to draw from the pool of content associated with this software. It helps with creating more realistic renderings, I guess, because that type of content gravitates towards realistic rendering. Let me open up another example to demonstrate it. So here is a robot in bright clothes concept art. So let's say that the style of these images is a little bit too painterly for your taste. And now the same thing, but with the Octane Render and Unreal Engine tags smuggled in. It gives the whole thing a specific 3D flair, like a 3D render or something. So these software tags may help to pivot the whole thing into a more 3D direction. And if you're looking for the ideas for your AI-generated prompts, feel free to check the Quick-Eyed Sky YouTube channel. It's a really good place to start if you're looking forward to trying some disk diffusion. There are some very useful tutorials and links there, so make sure to check it. Okay, before wrapping it up and moving to my showcase of groundbreaking Midjourney art, let me show you one more useful thing. We can control an aspect ratio by typing in --AR followed by the aspect ratio, for example 2:1. Alternatively, you can define the width and the height using the --W command followed by the number and --H or height command. But in this example, I will stick to the aspect ratio of 2.1 instead. Changing the aspect ratio really affects the look and feel of the final result, so it's worth experimenting with. One thing to keep in mind is that these special commands won't be reflected in the prompt if you copy it straight from the website. So you need to head over to the Discord and copy it from there, I think. So yeah, an ultra-wide CinemaScope landscape concept art. Obviously such aspect ratio kind of works well with landscapes, as we may have guessed. Once again, if you want to see the full list of commands, you can type /help on Discord or visit the Midjourney documentation page. This result is beautiful, by the way. Really pretty. But what about the vertical aspect ratio? A totally different vibe, obviously, still super intriguing and completely worth experimenting with, in my opinion. Actually, a big part of the fun is to play with the ideas of other Midjourney users and water their seeds to watch them grow into beautiful psilocybin mushrooms, so to speak, creating variations of their art and allowing them to create variations of your generated images. It's public by default, it's supposed to be a community, so if your friends still have credits, they can press these buttons for you, the upscale and variation buttons, and you can do the same for them. And a big part of the joy is to play with the ideas of each other, to ping-pong the concepts and see where it leads you to. The original prompt of this robo was designed by Perf. Tokyo 80s Twilight Cyberpunk, such a nice vibe, I love it. Have I warned you that this is addictive? Anyway, thank you so much for watching, I hope it was useful. I promise that near the end of the tutorial I'll show my attempts, my prompts and results, some unexpected crazy stuff with using Midjourney. I was using it for a few days at least, for 4 or 5 days, and some of the output obviously was really bad. Nothing to be excited about at all, but some images turned out to be crazy interesting. I'm dying to share it with you, so let's watch it together. I will stop talking for a few minutes. So enjoy. Crazy stuff. What is this tool? It's a tech crack pipe. Especially for a more abstract concept art, I guess. Nebulae. Space art in general. Let me know in the comments. Do you like it? Do you like concept art generated by artificial intelligence? Cool. Woo! Before we wrap it up, I have a few notes that I think is important to share. First of all, it is a paid software, right? Once you run out of free credits, once you get access to the beta and run out of free credits, it asks you politely to subscribe to one of the paid tiers, $10 a month and $30 a month, depending on the perks that it gives you, basically. But then you run out of the GPU hours and you have to pay extra in order to keep rendering at a fast speed, because once you hit the limit, application moves you to the relaxed mode. Basically, it handicaps the speed of image generation. And unsurprisingly, the only way to unlock the fast generation is to keep paying. That is definitely something to keep in mind. The other thing that I wanted to mention is that I'll leave the links to other similar applications in the description. Namely, check the Google Collab link of Quick Eyed Sky YouTube channel. And most importantly, let me know in the comments, do you like the AI generated art or not? Do you think it will change the world of computer graphics and at least of concept art? And if yes, how? I'm really interested in hearing from you about it. So leave your comment below, share this video with your friends, and hit the subscribe button. It was Gleb Alexandrov for CreativeShrimp.com. Drink more coffee, donate to Ukrainians, support Ukraine, and we will change the world of computer graphics.